Hello, this is Erin with the Joy in Pens and Paper, and I am going to do the 30th Three Inks Thursday. Yay! Um, in a Three Inks Thursday video, I take three inks, I swatch it on three different papers, and I use three different nib sizes to write in order to provide an opportunity to compare and really try to get to know the inks. The three papers that I will be using this week are very similar to the papers I've been using recently: the bank paper, Life Bank paper, Cosmo Airlight paper, and Tomoe River paper. The Cosmo Airlight paper and the Tomoe River paper are from Galen Everyday Notebooks. This is what it looks like on the back. It has this bendable cover. And the Life Bank paper is a pad that I pulled a piece of paper off of. The tools that I will be using to write, I have three TWSBI Go pens in a fine, medium, and stub nib, and I have a Kakimori Brass nib pen that I'll be using to do the swatching. In addition to that, I have an Inkapet to hold my ink samples, and I will be looking at three different inks today, one of which has a shimmer, so that one will wait to the end. Now I realized for the 29th three inks that I hadn't done a purple yet. I'd done a grayish purple, but not a true purple. So I did light purples last week, and this week I'm doing more kind of medium, darker purples. So the first one is from the Diamine 2021 Ink Vent Calendar. This is Festive Joy, and it is a standard ink. I am not swatching in any particular order, just noting that I will be doing the shimmer ink last. And look, I can see some gold sheening on the outside of that ink vial. All right, let me just make sure I'm in a nice and comfortable position. Just making sure I get, that's good. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of swatches. Definitely a dark purple ink. Now, my son has a small bottle of Pilot Iroshizuku, I think it's Murasaki Shikibu, and because that's his ink bottle, I don't have it swatched in my ink swatch book. So that probably would have been a good fit for this color family. But like I said, I don't view that as my ink, so I did not swatch that. A few extra items in my mason jar that I just wanted to move out of the way. All right. So using the fine nib, I am going to write the ink brand name. So this one is Diamine. And I guess I'll write Ink Vent. '21. I can see some of the sheen coming through. I have a syringe in my water jar, so I'm going to take that out too. Just because girlfriend is making a lot of noise. All right, and with the medium nib, I will write the name of the ink. I'm going to go ahead and keep up with my cursive, just because I am hoping to be able to increase my fluency with writing cursive. I'm so used to doing more the hand lettering style where I'm picking up my pen quite frequently. So I'd like to be able to write a letter in cursive. That would be a lot of fun. And then with the stub nib, I am just doing some uppercase and lowercase letters, just because writing with a stub is not my forte. Apparently I am not getting a whole lot of ink on that nib. Okay, So that is Diamine Inkvent Festive Joy. Oh, and the Cosmo Air Light. There's some spots. It looks like a whole different color on the bank paper. Fascinating. Okay. Obviously, I will talk more about that as we go. Next up, I have a sample from the Ink Journal, which they do an Inkflight subscription box. And each month you get 5 colors, maybe 6, and then a accompanying item. So sometimes those items are notepads, sometimes swatching tools, sometimes writing tools, but there's a variety of different items. It's a very similar purple. And when I use the Kakimori brass nib pen, there are times where as I'm writing, I'm slightly turning the handle just so that I can get a fairly consistent swatch. But I'll be honest, I actually really love the open space areas in these swatches. I'm not mad about that at all. All right, so this is a Waringal. I say this often in my videos, but if you hear my son, he is doing some gaming with friends of his. I do tend to do my ink swatching and such while he is occupied so that I'm not giving up family time. It's hard to second guess the name, The Great Gatsby. And then let's do the lettering. Beautiful. Now I would have to go back and check, but I don't know that I really ink up purple inks in my pens. I love the color purple, do not get me wrong, but it's not my favorite writing color. I tend to really like the more neutral colors, kind of, oh, look at that, kind of dirty colors, and not so much the really bright jewel tone colors. Now, the one, I guess, caveat to that is oftentimes around specifically December, which I would call the holidays for me. I will bring out more of the jewel tones at that time. Now this one looks like it's a little bit more blue leaning, just looking at the ink on the side of the vial, but it does have a pink shimmer, which I think I grabbed, so that should show relatively nicely. Beautiful. Oh yeah. I love that. Now I'm not going to re-agitate it for the writing sample, so we'll just have to look at the writing sample with a level of skepticism or caution. All right, so this is Colorverse. Now, at the time of this recording, it is early November 2024. I try not to talk too much about time-based anchoring things in 3inks videos just because people may explore these at any point in time. But I am thinking as I'm swatching Colorverse that Colorverse just came out with its first Inkvent calendar. And I ultimately chose not to purchase it because the price point was much, in my opinion, much more expensive than the Diamine Inkvent. And it did come with less ink, not by a lot, one less. But that one less was also a larger ink bottle. And I did see a swatching video. Oh, that's feathering. Interesting. And the couple of the colors were right up my alley. So I certainly am having a bit of regret. But perhaps similar to Diamine, they will come out with full bottles of their Inkvent colors in a few months. So I may consider that. All right. So here are my 3 swatches. Whoops. The Colorverse is still drying a little bit, but I am intrigued that there's feathering. Maybe disappointed. So looking at the 3 purples, it definitely is, I would say, the Colorverse Hayabusa. That's I would say a little brighter, but I think that brightness is coming because it is a little bit more of a blurple. There's a little bit more of a blue undertone. The Festive Joy, especially on the Cosmo Air Light paper and the Tomoe River paper, is also bright, and that one's got a little bit of a pinky undertone versus the Wearingeul Great Gatsby, comparative to the other 2, is looking a little tiny little bit grayish, which is interesting. Now, starting from the top, again, you've got the Diamine Inkvent Festive Joy, which has a little bit of a lean of a pink. It does have a gold sheen, which is most prominent in the Life Bank paper. In fact, it's so prominent, it looks like a different color. And I can't really tell if it's looking like a different color because the base color is in fact a slightly different shade or hue because it's on a different paper, or if that's because the sheen is so overpowering. But on the Cosmo Air Light and the Tomoe River, you see a little bit more of the sheen in the more saturated areas, and it's least prevalent on the Tomoe River paper. And I know some people really do not like sheen. I don't necessarily have a strong opinion either way. I tend to go or lean into more shading inks rather than sheen inks, but it's not because I have a strong opinion against sheening. That's just the way that I tend to select. Great Gatsby, like I said, it does have a little bit more of that grayish tone to it. On the Cosmo Air Light paper, I'm seeing a little bit of a sheen right here in the more saturated area. Let's see if I can. You can see a little bit in that angle, just right down here in the corner. On the bank paper, it does look a slight bit lighter than it does on the Tomoe River and the Cosmo Air Light paper. The Cosmo Air Light, it's a very kind of even tone, subdued ink versus on the Tomoe River and the bank paper, you're seeing a bit more of the specific strokes. You're also seeing a bit more of the shading on the Tomoe River paper, which I love that. That's beautiful. Colorverse Hayabusa. Oh my, that is stunning. Absolutely stunning. So this is a sample that I received in an ink swap with Zen of the Pen, and his ink preferences are a bit more bold than mine. And so I appreciate that we're able to share inks with each other. I will select what I believe to be the more bold inks, specifically blues, teals, and turquoises from my collection to share with him. But he definitely has a wide range. In this particular ink swap, I got purples, reds, greens, blues. It was quite the assortment. But this is absolutely gorgeous. The shimmer is almost a champagne color. It's definitely is pink, but maybe a little bit rose gold pink champagne. It's absolutely beautiful. The base color seems a little bit darker on the bank paper as compared to Cosmo Air Light and Tomoe River. The shimmer seems to be much more prevalent of a pop on the bank paper comparative to the Cosmo Air Light. And what I mean by that is when you look at this, you can almost see the different granules of shimmer or grains of shimmer versus on the Cosmo Air Light, specifically right here, it just seems to kind of blend in a little bit more. You definitely have this saturated area here in the corner, but keep in mind the nib went down on this paper here. On the Tomoe River paper, you have a couple of spots of saturation where the ink pooled, and you've got this lightness to the base color that you're not seeing a ton of on the bank paper. So these are my 3 inks for 3 Inks Thursday number 30. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you like this, please take a moment and hit subscribe so that you're notified when I post my next video. I have been very consistent with posting these every Thursday for the last 30 weeks, and I really am enjoying this series. I specifically enjoy being able to flip back through and just see all of the beautiful swatches, and even finding that I'm starting to use it when selecting inks for different writing months. But yeah, so like I said, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking your time to watch my video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye.